breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty. Mornings on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
On the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker Hotline this morning, Public Service Commissioner Foster Campbell joining us. Good morning, Mr. Campbell.
Good morning. Good morning.
Appreciate you joining us. SWEPCO is going to shut off power to the Regions Bank building, Shreveport's largest building, I may be mistaken, on Monday for non-payment of the electric bill. How unusual is this?
Very unusual, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think that the people who occupy the building are working together to work with SWEPCO to keep electricity on for a certain period of time. Let me say this: SWEPCO has given to get these people to pay their bills. They're not paying their bills, but the building is, I think, as I understand it, about 80% occupied. And there's some great tenants in that building, and I think they're getting together to keep the air conditioning on with SWEPCO. But one thing for sure, SWEPCO cannot eat $500,000 is what they owe, I think, or something like that. Maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Wow.
But anyway, they're owed a lot of money, and the things that they have to recover, because if they don't, they can recover the money from the people. And I certainly don't want everyday people all over Northwest Louisiana having to pay.
But the bill that's in arrears is due by the building's owner, Hertz Investment, not the tenants.
Well, I understand, but the tenants are in there. I'm sure they're working out some kind of arrangement. They're not going to pay that without expected being paid back. But the tenants are great tenants, are very successful business people, lawyer offices and CPA offices, etc. But I think they're working with SWEPCO to keep the electricity on, which is good, but I'm sure they want their money back, and SWEPCO certainly wants their money back that they're in arrears on, and I want them to get the money back because I darn sure don't want the people having to pay for it if SWEPCO charges it off. So
Foster, is a solution to this if the tenants come up and pay the money, withhold that from their next rent that's due? Could they do that?
Well, that's up to them. There's some smart people in that building, CPAs and lawyers, and I'm sure if they do keep the electricity on, they expect to be paid back, and I'm sure there's arrangements to make that happen. SWEPCO has tried to get their money out of these people. They're out in California, as I understand it. It's a big company that owns a lot of buildings. They're in arrears in other places, too, not just Shreveport. So everybody's working to try to help keep the electricity on. We don't want the electricity off on that big building downtown with all those people working in it. But we also don't want to think that the other people who get the electricity from SWEPCO, all the rest of us, we don't want to pay that bill. We're not going to pay the bill. So the people in California who own the building owe the money, and they have to pay it. They have to pay it.
Foster, let me ask you this. If you don't pay your SWEPCO bill at your house, or I don't pay it at mine, I don't get to go 6 months. Are commercial accounts handled differently, or is this just they've been trying to work it out? Do you know kind of behind the scenes on this one?
They've been working with these people. SWEPCO's doing their best to get their money. They don't want to shut that off. But they can't keep the electricity on if they don't pay the bills, just like you said about your house. You don't pay your bills, they cut it off. Mm-hmm. This is a little different because there's lots of people working there, and it disrupts a lot of things. But if they don't pay their bills, they got to cut it off. And right now they're in a dilemma. It looks like, as I appreciate it, they're going to be able to keep the electricity on by maybe the people in the building getting together, working with SWEPCO. There are good people in the building, responsible business people, and they want to they don't want to disrupt their work. Mm-hmm. So I understand. I don't know this for a fact. I understand they are working with SWEPCO to keep the electricity on and get their money from the people in California. It's a great building, a beautiful building, and it's occupied. It's not like it's vacant, and it's not a white elephant. It's one of the finest buildings in Shreveport.
I understand Cook Yancey's in there, Blanchard Walker. Some of our biggest law firms are in there. So these guys, this ain't their first rodeo with trying to work out problems.
Well, they do it every day, and I'm sure they're right in the middle of it. And I'm sure if they keep the electricity on, they want their money back.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
This company, we've had this issue with some apartment complexes where SWEPCO and the cities had to turn off water. We've had some of those landlords have been kind of deadbeats. Do we know anything about this company? Do they have other problems in our area or across the state? Have you heard anything else about this company?
I don't know a lot about them. I know that they have several buildings across the country, and I think that they've had some problems. I don't know a lot about them.
So we don't know if they've got a bankruptcy filing anywhere or if they've got any financial troubles or anything yet.
I don't know that. I don't know that.
So fast forward the clock to Monday morning when the power is expected to be turned off. You think it'll be solved by then?
I don't think the power will be cut off. I think that the tenants in the building will work together with SWEPCO to keep the power on where they can carry out a work day as normal. But and I'm sure they want their money back. So I don't know all the details. I just know that I think there's some negotiations going on, and I'm going to do everything I can to help. But we can't. I'm not going to. They got to pay the bills. That's the problem. Just like everybody else, you owe the money. You got to pay the bills, and hopefully we can work together where that can happen, and the electricity will stay on, and the building will. Those fine law firms, and there's a big CPA firm, and there's a big real estate firm. There's a lot of nice people in that building, and we want them to have the air conditioning on, of course, when it's 100 degrees outside. That's a must. Mm-hmm. The next thing is it's also a must that this company pay the bills. The bad thing about it is I appreciate, I don't know this now, but I appreciate that they charge them, and the people pay the rent, they pay they pay for the electricity. So if that's the case, this company is taking their money and not paying the bill with it, which is that's another situation.
Now, you said Hertz Investment Group, they own other buildings across the country, and you said they're behind on other buildings. Have they been foreclosed on or anything before?
I don't know that. I don't know that.
What
All
is
I
your...
know is...
Oh, go ahead.
My gut feeling is that SWEPCO is doing everything they can to work with the company, the parent company, and also the people working in the building. And I think that they won't have I think they'll have electricity Monday, and hopefully we have a solution to this serious problem. It's a serious problem. A lot of people work there, and those people who own those businesses, they pay their bill. The only thing is SWEPCO's not getting paid for, so there's a problem. But I'm not in the middle of that negotiation. All I'm trying to do is to help every way I can to make sure that SWEPCO recovers the money and to get their money back, and also make sure the lights are on for all those law firms and CPA firms and whoever else is in that building.
Yep.
They have to have electricity.
Foster Campbell, Public Service Commissioner. Thanks for your time, sir.
Thank you.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. You can read about that on KEEL.
Back with more of Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Very rarely do I get here and Aaron's not here yet. Very rarely. Mm-hmm. And I was half paying attention because my head, But then I realized, that's not the Bentley. That's another car.
Yeah, it's a different car.
Is it the same color, though?
I think it is the same color.
It looked real pretty.
I think it is the same color. It is a rental car while mine's in the shop.
Okay, yeah.
I learned some things about the rental car process yesterday.
Right?
I dropped my car off at Yoakum. I love TD and Jennifer and the crew at Yoakum. They do great work. It's at the body shop. They're going to fix it all up and make it brand new. But
it's nice to know a local dealership will work on Bentleys.
Yes, it was. It was hard to find somebody to fix a Bentley, but they're taking care of it. They drive me over to Enterprise, which is now across Burt Coons on Kemper Place. Not too far. It's up over there in the auto mall.
Okay.
So they drive you over there, drop you off. I had reserved a car at Enterprise through the other insurer who, I can say it was Progressive. That's the other driver's insurance, okay?
Which is good. I've got that for my bike.
Which is cool. It doesn't pay as much as my State Farm for a rental car, but that's all right. We were going to figure it out. Get over there. We have nothing. Yoakum guy's driving off. He's gone. We don't have the car that we reserved for you. Now, we do have a much bigger luxury, Dodge pickup of some sort.
So, Ruben, am I up? They don't have your car. You had a reservation.
Yeah.
And they don't have your car.
They don't.
Okay. You know what this is.
What?
I'm sorry, we have no midsize available at the moment.
I don't understand. I made a reservation. Do you have my reservation?
Yes, we do. Unfortunately, we ran out of cars.
But the reservation keeps the car here. That's why you have the reservations.
I know why we have reservations.
I don't think you do. If you did, I'd have a car. See, you know how to take the reservation, you just don't know how to hold the reservation. And that's really the most important part of the reservation, the holding. Anybody can just take them.
Let me speak with my supervisor.
That's perfect. That's exactly what happened.
When
now,
you told me that this morning, that's the first thing that came to mind.
The young man who managed the Enterprise, Connor, was absolutely fabulous. And he said, look, I have this luxury premium Dodge Ram, whatever, that I can rent it to you for, but Progressive only pays this amount. This vehicle rents for this amount.
Right.
And if
much higher.
Yeah, much higher. If they can come to $40, I'll rent you this premium vehicle for $40, or you can pay the difference between $40 and what they're going to pay. I said, I'm not coming out of pocket a penny. I didn't hit myself.
This lady hit me.
Right. I'm not paying a dime for this wreck. Well, you can contact Progressive. So I call Progressive, get through to one of the managers. They get in a big tiff because Progressive apparently has a deal with Enterprise that if our client has a reservation and they get there and you don't have a car, you have to give them whatever's available at our rate. That's their deal. That's their corporate deal. Well, the manager at the local shop, he's not authorized to do that. That's way above his head. And he's afraid I'm going to lose my job for giving out a $70 vehicle for a $30 rate. And so he couldn't do it. Well, ultimately, and I said, look, I have to go to the doctor. I need a ride. I need a car.
I'm on my way to my lawyer's office.
And I said, can we get Flo on the phone? Could Flo help with this? Ultimately, they got, they got the full size that I wanted, came in, they got it quickly rushed out, and I got on my way. But I didn't know all this intricacies behind the scenes. And, I mean, they were literally in a big fight over who was going to pay for what and what kind of car I was eligible to get. And there's a lot to this stuff. I got to thank the detective, too, by the way, that has been helping me get through all this and, got the other driver ticketed and, we're going to move through. Now my car's in the shop for a couple of weeks and I'm driving this, low-rent Bentley, whatever.
That's a very nice car, actually.
It actually is. It's a really nice vehicle. Yeah. And so I'm happy, but it was fun to kind of sit back and watch how it all twirls around and people are coming in trying to get cars and he's like, I don't have a car. I don't have, and I'm thinking, why not just rent this big Dodge luxury? It's going to sit there. No one's renting it. You're at least going to get some money for it rather than no money for it. So I didn't understand, but everybody did what they're supposed to do. Everybody left happy. I'm good.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you're not stranded.
I'm not stranded. I did leave my key fob in my car, the Bentley. So I had to drive back to Yoakum to get my key fob. So to get in this building because I forgot it was on that keychain. So I'm like, I got to figure all that. Anyway, we're good. or fixing up my car, and I'm going to be
And
good
your
as
gate
new.
access to your gated neighborhood.
Had to get my gate cruncher too. So,
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Lord.
It's
Thank you.
Aaron's
I
world,
forgot
Ruben.
about that.
We're just living in it.
Forgot about that Seinfeld. That was funny. God, that's funny.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Home.
Let's get back to the show with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel.
Okay. Just forgive me for
Hacking and whacking.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. I understand. You're sniffling.
I don't know if
You
it's...
okay? You have a fever?
Is the bear... I don't think I do. I don't
Okay.
think I have a fever.
All right. Well, you might want to lay your head down a minute.
Is the
see.
barometric pressure changing?
I don't know anything about barometric pressure. I'm sorry, I don't. I have a question to ask you guys because there's a big meeting in Baton Rouge today to talk about the I-20 interchange where they're building Buc-ee's in Ruston, and they're going to move that along, trying to speed that up.
Okay.
And there's Buc-ee's first announced they're building in Ruston, and now we know they're also building a store in Lafayette. So those two communities are kind of in a rush to see who's going to get it first. I was curious.
First Louisiana Buc-ee's.
Yeah, the first Louisiana Buc-ee's. Yeah, thank you. I was curious for you guys. If you go by a Buc-ee's, you typically will stop, right?
Oh, yeah.
Most people do. Do you stop?
Not as a
Not all
general rule, unless I, Now, I'll stop there before another one.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, at first, I just avoided it because it was so cliche and it was so redneck Disneyland, blah, 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 and I'm like, no. But then I found out the owners are believers. Mm-hmm. They treat their employees extremely well.
Yes.
And the business. So I stop now.
And the bathrooms are immaculate. They really are.
Yeah.
But I'm curious of folks in Shreveport-Bossier. Some people just love Buc-ee's, and they will now make the drive to Ruston to go to Buc-ee's.
I feel like, yeah.
I think that's going to be a thing.
I definitely know people who will. I won't go out of my way to drive all the way to Ruston just to, get beaver nuggets and what have you.
Right.
But if I'm on the way out there,
I'll stop.
I'm definitely stopping.
The barbecue sandwich is pretty good.
Yeah,
now,
but
I'm not driving to Ruston.
You're not driving to Ruston for it. Okay.
No.
But you know people that will.
I know people that will.
I do too.
I can't think off the top of my head.
Okay.
But
I know people who will drive to Ruston for the Buc-ee's. Now hopefully they're going to be open probably in early 2026. They got a year of construction to go. Lafayette's trying to get theirs open, late 2025, probably early 2026. So they're in a rush. But I think it's a game changer for Ruston because I think there are a lot of people. A lot of people here, a lot of people in Monroe, Arkansas that are going to go to Ruston to go to Buc-ee's.
Look at the area there around Terrell. Look at that.
Oh.
How that's where 80 and 20 split, that Y, that whole area used to be nothing but fields.
Yes.
Now
Absolutely.
it's full. I mean, movie theaters and hotels and stores and furniture stores, and it's unbelievable.
It really is. And I don't think I would drive over there for a trip.
No.
But if I was going to Louisiana Tech for something, or if I was going over to Monroe or something, I'm going to stop. I want to see it. I want to harass the beaver in the parking lot.
The last time we've gone that far east was the seafood competition.
Oh, yeah, we went to Monroe.
Yeah, we went to Monroe, and Dina, and we were driving over there, and I said, oh, my gosh, we haven't gone this far east since Micah was at Auburn.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
We haven't been over past about Arcadia. I've got cousins that live around the Arcadia area.
I don't go that way too often. Every now and then I go over there for a poker tournament in Mississippi. But not too often.
So, yeah. It's interesting.
Mostly going to Dallas. Most of our trips are to the Dallas area. Don't go east very often, that's for sure. But I'm a big Buc-ee's fan. I'm like you. It's a really, really cool establishment.
Yeah, it really
doubt.
is. It's fascinating to go in and watch that mug that I have. Don't tread on me. The Gadsden flag mug. I got there at Buc-ee's in Dallas.
Interesting.
Now, it doesn't say Buc-ee's on it any place.
Oh,
it's
it doesn't?
not a Buc-ee's. No.
Okay.
It's the Gadsden flag. Don't tread on me.
Nice.
Which I liked. It's a bright
They have
yellow.
they're going to have a lot of cool Louisiana memorabilia. So if you're looking for a gift for somebody out of state, Buc-ee's will be the place where you can get it. That's for sure.
Did you watch last night?
Of course I watched.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty. We'll talk about that next.
Now, breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Okay,
I do have a confession.
you'd be proud of me. I did turn it on.
Did you really?
I didn't hang very long, but I did turn it on.
Okay. Watched some of the speeches.
I couldn't hang for
I watched
all the lies and hatred.
couple of the musical acts. I literally fell asleep before Kamala Harris came on. I drifted off into a sleep. I'm sorry to say that. But then I got up early this morning and I watched it. And I watched her speech from beginning to end to see if she was going to look presidential to me. Because that's my problem with Kamala Harris. She does not look nor sound presidential. That's my problem.
Right. That's your problem.
Well, there are lots, but that's my biggie.
Her past 20 years in public, quote, service, and that's your problem.
Yeah, I have other problems. But for me to even think about possibly voting for you, you have to be presidential to me. I have to know when you're sitting across the table with Putin or whatever world leader it is, that you will command the respect of that other person. I don't find that with her.
No, and it's not going to happen.
I don't find it. I'm scared about it. I struggle with it. Now, mind you, I'm on the conservative scale. I'm liberal scale. I'm in the middle. Y'all know that. I lean conservative in a lot of things, fiscal, financial, etc. I just didn't hear from her what I needed to hear about strength and power and.
Because, Aaron, it's all platitudes.
Yeah.
And lies.
Mm-hmm. I have my struggles with Trump. I have said this before. I get in a lot of fights about this. I don't like all his, mean tweets and his personal attacks and his, ego. I don't like all that. A lot of people don't like all that. The conservatives have to realize that. That turns people off.
I saw somebody posted a video of, and I don't know who it was, an Asian leader. Joe Biden was at some summit, and this Asian leader was cutting his eyes at Joe Biden, and they went to stand up, and he gave him this, this just disdainful look. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then the next clip was the same Asian guy. And I wish I could quantify by saying who it was. Trump walked in the room. This guy popped up, buttoned his coat, straightened his tie, was like, oh, here he is. I mean, Aaron, a world of difference. You talk about leaders respecting.
Yeah.
They respect Trump. And it may be born out of some fear.
Right.
But that's what you want.
Absolutely. We'll see, what the polls will now show. It's a 75-day run now to Election Day. It's important that everyone vote. And
Absolutely.
I'm scared to hear all the people go, I'm just not going to vote. It bothers me a lot.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty.
Back with more of Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Well, I can tell you, I won't be doing much this weekend.
Just chilling?
Oh, my gosh. I think we are going to drive over to Kilgore tomorrow.
Okay.
We were going to today, but I don't want to.
All right.
Yeah. My son's birthday was this week.
So y'all are celebrating?
So we're gonna take his gifts over.
Okay, like what did you get him? He's not listening. He's asleep.
It's not that big a deal anymore.
No.
The kid is 38 years old.
Golly. Wow.
Which is bizarre because I'm only 39. It's so strange how that worked.
I don't know how that works. I really don't. I don't get it at all. Well, happy birthday to Casey. That's awesome. That is very cool.
Yeah.
By the way, police officer Chad Kelly, Bossier City, they're having a fundraiser for him today. A hamburger plate and drink right there in front of the police station on Benton Road. Starts at 11. Kelly is battling cancer, so as long as the food lasts, they're going to be serving it. So I'm hoping to get by there today and pick up a couple of burgers, and I hope you'll do the same. It's just, I'm sorry I changed the topics on you, but I meant to talk about that earlier.
Absolutely.
11 o'clock this morning, right there on Benton Road in front of the police station. So if you have time to go buy you a hamburger, and it'll come with the chips and all that all that stuff. So to help the family
maybe just
out.
go drop off a 20.
Yeah, exactly. Just drive through and say, "Here, I don't have time for the burger. Here's my cash." So we will see. We're going to be having Ronnie Walker, the mayor of Ruston, on this morning. Going to talk about the progress on Buc-ee's, and perhaps we'll get an update on SWEPCO and the Regions Bank Tower electricity debacle.
I understand. I have heard that they've extended from Monday. They're they're working with them like Michael said yesterday. He told us, look, we're not in the business of cutting people off. We sell electricity. We want to work with them.
Absolutely.
So they're extending until Thursday. Hopefully.
That's what it sounds like. We'll try to catch up with Michael Corbin again this morning just to get a brief update. There's not a whole lot they can say, but we'll try to get a brief update on what they're kind of negotiating right now. And if you're wondering, it's the Regions Tower downtown that is in 6 months worth of arrears to the tune of about $500,000. According to Foster Campbell yesterday. Exactly. So I'm hoping the tenants have come together and tried to put together a deal to kind of keep the juice turned on and until the owner can step in and pay up what they're owed.
Yeah, because it's more than just lights.
Oh,
you're losing AC.
Absolutely. And I understand there may be a water problem, too. I don't know that. I have not confirmed that. But
really?
We're
a water
trying
problem in Shreveport? What?
We're trying to find out if the water bill's been paid. We'll see.
1017 FM 710 KEEL Fox News next. Mike and McCarty. .17 FM 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker hotline this morning. Flying a jet. Ruston Mayor Ronnie Walker joining us. Mayor, good morning, sir.
How are you doing?
Are you flying in an open cockpit plane? You must be on your way to Baton Rouge.
We're on our way to Baton Rouge right now, yes. Myself and two of our administrators.
Well, the city council approved the 80-acre site that Buc-ee's will be taking over. Tell us what's going on in Baton Rouge.
So what we're doing today is meeting with all the stakeholders, all the engineering groups, all the consultants, Buc-ee's, DOTD, Federal Highway, everyone that's involved in this project, and just trying to get all the loose ends, I guess you would say, tied up.
How soon will the construction begin, Mayor? What's the hope?
Well, the hope is as soon as possible. That's what it's been from day one. But realistically, I would think somewhere toward the first of the year, last part of the last quarter. It's a 12 to 15-month process after they start. So we're just hoping to get everything kind of tied up today so that date can be set.
And that looks like possible opening in early 2026 then?
Correct, yes.
All right, there's a little bit of a race going on, with Lafayette. I don't want you to lose. I don't want you to lose that race. I want you. They're trying to get theirs open next year. There's really no chance for Ruston for next year. You got too much work to do on the freeway there, right?
No, we got plenty of time for the work on the interchange, we're not really concerned about that at all. It's just that we can do that totally separate of the building of the building. So we probably will start that sometimes in the last quarter of this year.
Now, this is an 80-acre site, but Buc-ee's is planning on using about 25 acres. If you look at the Terrell, Texas Buc-ee's, that whole area has just exploded. I know you're hoping that will happen there in Ruston. Is that going to be enough acreage?
Well, that's how much that Buc-ee's is going to develop. There's private landowners that have acreage next to that will be available too. So yes, we would love for it to look like Terrell, Texas in a few years. And we've already had calls from restaurants, hotels, different businesses. So we know it's going to develop. It's just a matter of getting it started.
That's what I was going to ask you, Mayor Ronnie Walker from Ruston. How much has this spurred other development? I mean, restaurants and all that's good, but what about other big development? Is that also spurring some of those calls too?
It's amazing how many calls we're having. I mean, like last week alone, we met 4 different groups, one group every day, 4 days last week, 1 this week. It's just amazing that Buc-ee's draws that much, first of all, people every day to the store, but also just the excitement of what's happening in North Louisiana and people and businesses wanting to be a part of that growth.
Anything you can share? Maybe possible new development?
Not yet. There's a bunch. Well, I guess I can. Texas Roadhouse is coming, not where Buc-ee's is going to be, but in town. We've got 2 new hotels coming. So it's just going to continue to pick up pace as we see construction start.
Talk about the jobs, the Buc-ee's jobs. They're quality, good paying jobs. How many are we talking about?
Well, they're talking about 250 right now, and they are quality jobs. I'm so glad you said that because, they pay $18 an hour. They've got 401k with a match. They've got paid vacations. They've got health insurance. But Louisiana Economic Development doesn't consider that a quality job. So we don't get any assistance from the state with our part as far as infrastructure because it's not considered a quality job. We'd love to see that change to where, especially in North Louisiana, in the North Delta Regional Authority, that should be a quality job, and I feel like there should be state funds that would help with that. That's a discussion for another day.
Mayor Ronnie Walker, let me ask you this about sales tax revenues. I assume you kind of at night you rub your hands together and you're thinking, ooh, this is going to be good. What kind of projections are you looking at? I mean, folks from Shreveport, Bossier, from Monroe, they're going to drive to Ruston to go to Buc-ee's. It's kind of a little outing. It's almost a destination location. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We have done a lot of projections. Of course, the sales tax, we gave some incentives to get them there, but we still have a lot of our sales tax that we'll be receiving. So it's not just the city of Ruston. It's the school board. It's the sheriff's office. It's the parish. All of those will have a nice, I hate to call it a windfall, but a nice addition to what we receive because all of us depend on sales tax.
Mayor, you're on your way to Baton Rouge, state and federal officials. Do you foresee any problems or hiccups in the process?
Well, anytime you've got a project of this size and something that's taken, we've been working on this for 18 months now. So anytime you have something that big, you always have hiccups. We've worked through so many of them so far. We hope today's meeting at 10 will tie a lot of those up. And I'm sure we'll have a few more that pop up because that's just the way construction and this kind of development that happens. But we're very optimistic and just looking forward to getting this meeting finished today and moving on to the next part of this project.
Well, we look forward to it. I can't thank you enough for joining us this morning, and keep us posted. Shoot me a text on how your meeting goes today.
I'll do it. Thank y'all so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Drive safely, sir. Ruston Mayor Ronnie Walker, Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
What's the latest on the Regions Bank power struggle? We'll talk with Michael Corbin with SWEPCO coming up at about 7:40.
Get back to the show with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Obviously, it's dark when you and I get here.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, I'm not feeling at my best right now.
Sniffly.
I hope I don't have the SARS. Remember the SARS?
Yeah, we hope you don't have the SARS too.
So, but when I pulled in this morning, I just saw your car in my head. Mm-hmm. Looked like the same color, but then I went, oh, wait. The rental car. She must have dropped her car off.
Yep.
Dropped the Bentley off to get repaired.
I did. I dropped my car off at Yoakum. Thanks to Jennifer, TD, and the whole crew out there. They do great work, by the way, at the body shop. I'm not plugged to say that. They just do. Trust me, I'm a frequent flyer. I keep hitting stuff, or people keep hitting me. Anyway.
I need to take my mom's Camry over there.
Yeah, no
Looks
kidding.
like a bumper car.
They do good work. So go over there, drop it off. I had a reservation with Enterprise to pick up at the same time I was dropping off, because Yoakum will drive you over to Enterprise. And so that's what we did. And the insurance company that is covering my damage is Progressive. It's not my company, but that's who's covering me from the other driver. So I'm like, okay, cool. I have a reservation. Get over to Enterprise. We have no cars, which is...
Wait, you had a reservation?
I did. I had a reservation, but they didn't have the size car or whatever that I had reserved.
Wait, you're kidding me.
No.
You had a reservation and they didn't have cars.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm thinking now.
I know what you're thinking.
The first thing that came to my mind.
Yep.
I'm sorry, we have no midsize available at the moment.
I don't understand. I made a reservation. Do you have my reservation?
Yes, we do. Unfortunately, we ran out of cars.
But the reservation keeps the car here. That's why you have the reservations.
I know why we have reservations.
I don't think you do. If you did, I'd have a car. So you know how to take the reservation, you just don't know how to hold the reservation. And that's really the most important part of the reservation, the holding. Anybody can just take them.
Let me speak with my supervisor.
Here we go.
When you said that this morning, that's like, oh my gosh. And
Now,
Elaine's face during that whole scene is hilarious.
Now I'm going to give credit to Enterprise. I'm not bashing them. Connor and the crew over there did a great job in trying to hunt for a car and get a car over there for me. But here was the problem. I learned a little inside baseball about how this all works. Between the insurance companies and the rental car companies, their corporate deals are things you don't realize. Like if I have a reservation and I get there and my car's not there, those two companies, those two corporate giants have a deal that they have to give me whatever they have.
Right.
At
the same price.
Yeah, at the price they negotiated. Well, they had a very, very luxurious Dodge Ram something that cost, twice as much as Progressive was going to pay. And the manager at that Enterprise location, he's not a corporate giant guy. He's just manages one location. And he was worried he'd lose his job if he rented this premium luxury car at half off. He was working with them. He was trying to work with Progressive, but they wouldn't come up to a middle rate. And so he was afraid he'd lose his job if he did it. So he's like, I can't do that, but I'm working to get a car here. I said, look, I got a doctor's appointment. Connor, I
should have said it was a lawyer's appointment.
I should have. Maybe I should. But anyway, the Progressive people go up the chain to get on the phone with him, and they're literally having a fight. I mean, they're having a You got to take care of my client. You got to take care of I'm trying. You got to take care of And I'm thinking, wow, this is really. And I just said, can y'all just get Flo on the phone? just get Flo on the phone. She'll fix it. She'll take care of it. Got a car. Got me on the way. Didn't have to wait too long. Thanks to Connor. Thanks to the folks at Progressive. They took care of it. And now I have it's not a Bentley, but it'll do.
Right.
It'll do.
It's nice.
It
is nice. And it looks like the same color as yours.
It's the exact same color. It's the exact same color. And
funny.
so I'm learning most of the buttons are pretty similar. The Bentley, of course, has got all those nice massage things that I'm used to having, but I don't have those in this car.
And then the console, you raise it up, and there's your liquor bottle and, and shot glasses.
You've got an ice chest in there and all. Yeah. Don't have that, but for most of the things, I have all that good stuff. So I'm happy, and Yoakum will be tearing mine apart and putting it back together again. So we'll be good to go in a couple of weeks.
ETA, couple weeks.
Yeah, it looks like a couple of weeks probably. Got to order the parts, and they've started ordering the parts.
But the one you're in is much easier to get in and out of. It's not as low.
It is not as low, and it is a very comfortable seat. So I'm happy. I'm good to go, but I didn't know all this inside baseball, insurance stuff. It was kind of interesting to kind of watch it play out.
Ruben and I are both much relieved when you're happy.
I get that. I've been told that before by other people. It's way better when McCarty's happy.
Happy work wife, happy work life.
Yes.
Yeah, gotcha. Understand.
Does that mean I have 2 work husbands? Ooh, that's kind of scary. Oh.
Is this Mormon? What
what the hell?
Hey. What, does it work that way for Mormons? Can you have more than one husband, or is it just more than one wife?
I haven't heard of any woman having more than one husband. Does that happen like that, Rube?
No. And I actually, no comment. I've already bummed out one religious group this week, so I'm going to stay out of it.
You sure have. You did yesterday. You got some people angry with you,
Whoops.
Rube.
Chewing your shirt comment.
You absolutely did. I forgot about that. You went rogue devil over there.
So funny.
Oh, so I'm good and I'm happy, and we'll have this vehicle for a little while.
Good. Michael Corbin going to join us coming up here in about 12 minutes from right now. Mm-hmm. Did find out that earlier this week they were talking about they're going to have to shut off power at the Regions Bank Tower because they've gotten into the owners now, not the tenants.
Right.
The owners have gotten about 6 months in arrears, and Michael didn't tell us, but Foster Campbell mentioned in the earlier interview that he thought it was about $500,000.
Wow.
In arrears.
A lot of moolah.
That's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't understand, and I want to ask Michael, the tenants are trying to work out a deal to keep the power on.
Yes.
And from what I understand, they've extended it through Thursday, the deadline.
I have to ask him if that's true, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And why would the tenants pony up money if unless are they going to get that back from the owners?
Well, I would take it off my next month's rent. That's what I would do. I don't pay my full rent.
Okay, there you go.
If I owe you $10,000 a month rent, guess what you're getting next month? $8,000. Then I'm gonna subtract the $2,000 I paid for the electric bill, whatever it is. That's what I would do. I'm sure they're doing. There's lots of big law firms in that building. I know. I'm sure they know exactly what they're doing.
Right.
That's how I'd handle it if it were me.
Well, hopefully we'll get some deets coming up here in about 10 minutes. Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710keel.com, and on the free Keel app.
More breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel.
Okay, I'm about to blow your mind. Ruben, are you ready? I'm about to absolutely rock your world.
Uh-oh.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I guess I'm ready.
Oreos are a knockoff of Hydrox.
Oh, this is something.
Not the other way around.
This is something I knew. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Hydrox were they debuted in 1908. Oreos not until 1912.
They stole it?
Oreos are actually a knockoff of Hydrox.
And
Hydrox is half the price, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And Oreos is like the biggest snack cookie on the shelves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Man, how does Hydrox feel about that? I
no
wonder.
Kidding. They invented it.
And how did Hydrox not become the biggest?
Marketing.
Yes.
Marketing. Oreos is owned by a monster
Nabisco.
company.
Isn't it Nabisco now?
Yeah,
but
I think
were they at the beginning?
I don't know. And they marketed that baby.
Yeah, you just got to watch Mad Men to figure out how stuff like that happens.
Yes,
I've never
absolutely.
watched that.
It's pretty good.
Mike, you would love Mad Men.
I think I would.
You would love it.
I'm about to wrap up my 15th run through of Breaking Bad. So
switch over to Mad Men.
So I may do that.
You would love
it's
it.
streaming, I'm sure, someplace.
Someplace.
I can't think of where. Maybe Hulu.
I have an Oreo question for you, and I know we got to leave. Michael Corbin is banging on the door, but the double stuffed Oreos.
No, I like
it's
regular.
too much.
Thank you.
It's too much.
It's too
Thank
much.
you.
Too much.
One of my kids loves the double stuffed, and I'm like, no, it's too much.
I'm so glad you say that.
Yeah, yuck.
There's just nothing better than the regular good old Oreos.
Dunk them in ice cold milk. Oh man,
I don't even like to dunk them. I just like them.
And is it wrong if you can put a whole cookie in your mouth and you just want to?
Well, not anymore. You know they're not as big as they used to.
Yeah, that's true. They have shrunk. Is that proper grammar? Have shrunk?
Have shrunk, yeah.
They have shrunk. I think that's right.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, another along that same lines, when I go to Wingstop, I don't get any dipping sauce. I don't need any ranch. I don't need any, but they got barbecue or Louisiana rub or whatever on them already.
One more stupid food question. When did hamburgers at the fast food joints become sliders?
That's true.
When did they become sliders?
That is true.
They have shrunk, and now they're sliders.
Not at Papa and Company.
You got a point. You got a point. No doubt.
They got the best burgers in town.
Absolutely.
Michael Corbin coming up just after the break. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty.
Big stories of the day with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
I insulted a lot of people, apparently, who like double stuffed Oreos. I'm sorry.
It's too much.
Yeah, too much.
I like the regular. Michael Corbin with SWEPCO. He's the External Affairs Manager on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker Hotline, talking about this big. Michael, are you sorry this ever came up, this whole Regions Bank Tower building?
Well, certainly I think everybody involved wished that it had not come up, but it's just one of the things that we have to deal with, and we're going to make it through this.
Well, we found out they're about 6 months in arrears, and through a comment made by the Public Service Commissioner, it's about $500,000. Is that accurate?
I heard the Public Service Commissioner make that comment, and that's all I can say about that.
You heard him say it. There you go.
I would ask you if you can help shed some light on the tenants getting together and possibly working out a deal.
Yes.
Where are those negotiations? I know you can't say a whole lot about it, but is that something that is doable? And has the deadline moved from Monday to Thursday? Is that accurate?
I'll start with the deadline first. Public Service Commissioner Foster Campbell did talk to us yesterday and ask if we would extend the disconnect deadline from Monday to Thursday to do two things: to allow tenants more time to work on business continuity plans and not have their business interrupted, and also to allow discussions with the ownership group or with the tenants to get the bill paid. The second part of that, I think that, I know that the tenants are discussing what their options may be. And, I am very confident that whether the tenants actually pay the bill or not, I think there will be a solution offer on the table that's put together by the tenants.
Michael, what is the ownership? It's Hertz. What is it? Hertz Investment Group, or what is their response to this? Are they working with y'all, or is there an effort on their part to make any type payment?
They seem to be fairly quiet.
That's what I was afraid of.
You're kind of being ghosted, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big corporation. They own properties around the country. They have local management on the ground that is either a part of their group or they contract with. So most of our communication is with the local management group housed in the building.
Can I ask you a silly question? And when you have a big account like this, you have plenty of these, I'm sure. Are the tenants privy to whether or not the electricity's been paid? Can they inquire and say, is Hertz up to date on the electricity? Do they get any notification other than when you slap the notice on the building's front doors? Is that the first they probably heard of it?
Yes, that's exactly why we put notices out on the building, is we wanted to give the tenants a heads up. We're extremely restricted on information that we can pass on about accounts. That's private information. So we could not go in and let people know, hey, they're behind this much, or they're still behind, or any of that. And so it really comes back to that tenant and management group relationship, and are they talking? Do they know what's going on? Because it does seem like suddenly we come out and things post our notices and things are going downhill quickly.
I would like to ask you this: if the tenants kind of work out an arrangement where they start paying you something, maybe not the whole $500,000 if that's the number, if they start paying something. Is that an effort in good faith, and that y'all would continue to work that relationship out? Is that something that could happen?
There are a number of things on the table. I will say that, and you heard the Public Service Commissioner make it in some of his comments yesterday. Ultimately, his goal is that this amount that is owed, that something goes wrong and this is put back on the ratepayers. And he has a huge concern about that, as do we. So getting this bill paid up to date and a path forward to pay in a timely manner is of utmost importance to everybody involved.
And Michael, let me clarify something also, because Regions Bank reached out through Ashley Foster, their media relations partner, and said, and she said, it's important to note that while our name is on the tower, Regions Bank does not own the facility. We're not the ones responsible. Right. In the meantime, it's business as usual for Regions. We don't have a branch there. We have offices. We continue serving our Northwest Louisiana clients. And so I don't want them getting short-shrifted on this.
Well, right. And most tall buildings or like the arena in Bossier City, you pay for naming rights to have your logo on that building. And it doesn't mean that you have any ownership in it, or sometimes you don't even have much office space in it. But it's a huge billboard.
Michael Corbin with SWEPCO. One more thing before we let you go. I think there is a rule through the Public Service Commission where you can't come cut off my power for a late bill if the temperature is at 100 degrees. Does that go for corporate accounts too?
That is for residential only, not for commercial accounts.
So if it's 100 degrees next Thursday, it won't matter.
Right.
Interesting. Good to know. Will you keep us posted as soon as you get payments or as soon as they bring it up to speed? We would love to know.
Certainly will. Good to be with y'all.
Thanks.
Thank you, Michael. Have a great weekend. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty.
Back with more of Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Sorry to all the Oreo double stuffed. Do I have to issue a formal apology to all the double stuffed Oreo people? Wow. Holy God.
Okay.
Restaurant in...
And the reason you bring that up, because in an earlier segment, I said Oreos are actually a knockoff of Hydrox.
I had no clue.
Because forever we always thought, Hydrox, that's cheap Oreos. That's a knockoff Oreo. No. Hydrox were actually introduced in 1908. And Oreos not until 1912. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 4 years later.
Poor Hydrox.
I know.
Golly.
It's like the Betamax and the VHS.
But seriously, think about it. Think about the name Hydrox.
I know. What does that mean?
Who decided to name a cookie Hydrox?
It sounds like a cough syrup.
Yeah, or a bleach of some sort.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat bleach. No, dumb name, bad name.
Okay.
Oreo sounds friendly.
Let me give you one more.
Okay.
Okay. The guy who invented Lifesavers candy.
Okay.
Name was Clarence Crane.
All right.
He sold the patent for about $2,900 before it got popular. Yeah. Now, his son, Hart Crane, was a famous, he was an American poet who ended up taking his own life.
Oh, my.
By jumping off of a boat.
What?
Isn't that bizarre? Yeah, there you go. Now it clicked.
It just hit me. Wow. Isn't
that bizarre?
That is bizarre. Very bizarre. A Japanese restaurant in California. You see this? Another food story. The cooks, for their cooking wine, they were storing it in a bottle that was an apple juice bottle. Yep. A little toddler got served apple juice and blood alcohol content 0.12.
Oh, my.
Had to go to the hospital. Who was the bright-idead person that thought putting the wine in the apple juice bottle was a good idea? Oh, the kid couldn't walk. The parents were like, she was wobbling. She was slurring her speech.
Why am I laughing?
I'm smelling a lawsuit here.
Why am I laughing?
Yeah, I know. That's sad.
We went and got daiquiris one time, and I left mine on the side table next to the chair. I'm not a big drinker.
Oh, boy.
But we had to leave. I got back, and the daiquiri had gotten knocked on the floor, and my basset hound was stumbling through the house. It was hilarious.
That's pretty funny.
What do presidential polls actually mean? Do they mean anything, really? When do they really start mattering? John Couvion with JMC Analytics going to join us at 8:10. Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710, KEEL.com. .101.7 FM 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty. Presidential polling, of course, just going crazy right now. But does it really matter? Who is paying attention at this point? We say not a lot of people yet. I mean, as far as the average person.
It's true. Sad, but true.
It is sad. John Couvion with JMC Analytics on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker Hotline. John, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on your show today.
Yes, sir. Thanks for agreeing to talk with us. So the polls today, regardless of what they're saying, it's not going to be what they're going to be saying in 30 or even 60 days, are they?
Correct. And one of the things I think that's important to realize, and I literally just 15 minutes ago posted this on my blog, is that Kamala Harris got a 1-point bump. And I am figuring there's probably going to be another 0.5 point to a point that she'll get next week because, as you could appreciate, any polling being taken after the convention, which, of course, ended last night, we're not going to see any results until probably Tuesday or Wednesday. But the bottom line is these 5- and 10-point bumps that the media likes to talk about, that's kind of a thing of yesteryear. It just doesn't happen that way nowadays.
The afterglow after the convention, it's a little bit typical to see a little bit of movement, but
Correct.
Really, like you just said, not a whole lot, right?
Correct. And by the way, it's also worth noting, despite people hyperventilating over the last month, that neither the Trump convention, nor the attempted assassination, nor the Republican convention, et cetera, have really moved the numbers very much either.
Now, John, you typically watch averages of these polls, so you're not depending on one or two.
Exactly. And by the way, that's a good lesson about polling. Never get excited about a single poll.
Right.
I like to look at the averages over the last 7 days, and I use my averages as well as 2 other national averages. So I'm really just like blending everything in.
So how close is this as we sit here today?
Mm-hmm.
How close?
Very.
Well, you broke
Very,
up a little bit. What you said? Not very or very close?
No, I said very. Very.
Okay.
So there's 2 halves to the coin here, which I think is important to appreciate. Kamala Harris has basically had pretty much a 5-week honeymoon. That's going to be over now because not only do you have debates, but people are going to start voting on September 6th in North Carolina, to use one example.
Wait.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
You just said September
6th.
Holy
and
cow.
as if that weren't insane enough, on September 20th, in-person early voting starts in Minnesota, Virginia, and South Dakota. And then, of course, in our great state, October 18th is when in-person early voting starts. And I think the mail ballots, probably like the 3rd or 4th week of September, they're going to hit the people's kitchen tables. So, in other words, we're going to have a very compressed election cycle.
Wow. Now, how much polling will be done between now and Election Day? Is it typically a weekly deal? I mean, you're kind of inside baseball on that. How many polls are going to be done?
So basically, you had kind of a moderate volume of polling that gets released every day. And I personally like to use Real Clear Politics. But what's going to happen now is all these outfits that have been polling and only releasing it once a month, because you have a rotating cast of characters as to who releases what poll and what day, I would expect going into next week, and especially after Labor Day, pretty much everybody's going to be posting polls every week. So you're going to have a deluge of information.
John Couvion, what states matter? I mean, we hear that a lot, that only Louisiana won't matter. There are only a handful of states that matter. Is that accurate?
Louisiana matters from the standpoint of Donald Trump absolutely needs it to win, but he's going to get pretty much close to what he got before, which is 58%. But to directly answer your question, you have about 5 states, I would argue. You have the 3 blue wall states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. You also have Arizona and Georgia. And Nevada. So really 6 states. That really is the election right there.
So a ton of money will be spent in those 6 states.
Yes, they will get super saturated with ads, and you have to feel sorry for people who live, to use one example, in the Atlanta media market, because they're going to get pelted with not only a bunch of presidential ads, but there's probably going to be some congressional races, some local races, et cetera, et cetera. And I used to hear horror stories in Atlanta about during a special election, people were getting so much mail that post offices stopped delivering it just because you have this stack of, those little mailers. But that's basically what's been going on is in those 6 states.
Wait, the post office just stops delivering it? Isn't that a federal crime?
Well, what's interesting about this, what you're talking about here, this was that special election way back in 2017 in a suburban Atlanta congressional district where not only the candidates had their mailers, but all these third-party groups from both sides were just pelting the mailboxes. And from a friend I had who lives in the Atlanta area, he was telling me that there were cases of mail not being delivered just because you have the sheer volume of all those mailers, which would probably dwarf anything that you get, from those grocery classifieds that hit your mailbox every week.
Mm-hmm. John, what are you watching in the polling? Give us a little kind of professional expertise. When you look at the poll numbers, what are you looking at? What are some things that are going to be big telltale signs?
Number one, the portfolio of polls. In other words, I look at the average instead of get excited over a certain poll. Number two, and this is getting into perfect world stuff, but now that you're going to have Election Day getting closer, you're going to have the same pollster doing polls like every week or 2 weeks. So let's say that pollster ABC polled Wisconsin, and let's say it showed Harris up +2. That same pollster comes back a week later, and it showed Harris either +1 or +3. if you have the same pollster polling the same state in a relatively short period of time, that to me is just about as telling as what a whole bunch of polls say, which groups like Real Clear Politics and 538 compile as an average.
Interesting. And what would you say to the bulk of Americans who are undecided, who are like, I don't know which one to vote for. I'm not passionate about either one, so maybe I'll stay home. I know that's what those are the folks they're trying to reach. What do you say to them?
There's two things I'm going to say. Number one is pay particular attention to the debates. In other words, what kind of messaging will Trump and Harris put out? And more specifically with Harris, she hasn't really been challenged yet. In other words, you'll notice she's not sat down for media interviews, nor has she faced Donald Trump. So that's one side of the equation. The other side of the equation, with regards to the undecideds, I'm going to be paying particular attention to early voting volume because I can compare it against 2020. And the reason I'm telling you this is virtually every state I've been checking the primary turnout, it's considerably down relative to 2020, and Florida was the latest example. They had the primary this past Tuesday, and I'm seeing double-digit decreases in voter turnout.
Wow.
Where I'm going with this is I don't think voters are quite into this election. And by the way, I could tell you from just around my hometown of Baton Rouge, it's late August, and I'm not seeing very many yard signs out. That's the kind of thing that typically by June or July you would start seeing yard signs popping up for the various local and perhaps congressional races. I'm just seeing multiple signs of lessened interest relative to 2020, which is the other kind of controversial take I have for you today.
Well, when we say things like, well, Louisiana doesn't matter, that frightens me in that I don't want people, what you just addressed, I don't want people not to vote, thinking it doesn't matter.
Oh, sure.
It still does. Your vote does matter.
It does. And one thing I do want to emphasize, even though turnout's going to be down, there's an organic level of interest in voting purely because it's a presidential election. So it's not like we're going to talk about some pathetic number like I think it was 36% voted in the governor's race last year. I'm certainly expecting higher than that, but what I'm saying is I think there's going to be a slight decrease in volume relative to 2020. That was like the high watermark.
Interesting. Great stuff. John Couvion, JMC Analytics. Appreciate your time, my friend. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Coming up here in just a few minutes, Ronnie Walker, Ruston Mayor. He's on his way to Baton Rouge for a huge meeting. The Buc-ee's in Ruston is moving forward. Hear what he has to say. 101.7 FM, 710keel.com.
Let's get back to the show with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel.
I am glad that I have a sick weekend, if you will, that at least it's race weekend.
Yes, it's true. That's true.
I like to watch all the practices, you know, the qualifying. I like all of it.
I don't watch all that. I'm just watching the race.
No, I like to watch all of it.
I end up recording all of it. I also record all the NASCAR stuff, too, but I end up not watching it.
I just never have gotten into NASCAR. You need to get the F1 app.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
You can see all the extra stuff.
Everything. And then you can go back and watch races from 1960 if you want.
I'm not that dedicated. I'm not. I'm
so worth it.
Now, I would for LSU football stuff. I want to see all that stuff. And I don't know what's going on. Fans are upset about Brian Kelly trolling Lane Kiffin's Coke.
I saw that.
I don't understand what's going on.
I don't know what that is. If somebody knows.
Somebody can explain. I don't know. Lane Kiffin apparently ripped his Coca-Cola sponsorship. He wasn't happy with it. I don't know what happened. And Brian Kelly displayed a smart water. They're in a little tiff about who's displaying what drinks. And
well, remember Nick Saban would always have, was it Coke?
Yeah, I think
Coke
it was
bottle on his press conferences on that podium. He would always have one up there.
Yeah, the Smart Water, I think, is a Coca-Cola product, and I think Kelly was doing that to kind of, thumb his nose at Kiffin because Kiffin was not happy with Coke. I don't know, but of course, they're in the final weeks of getting ready to play each other because that's a USC LSU matchup on September 1 in Vegas. Who's going, by the way? You going? Are you going to the game?
Am I going to the game?
Yeah. No, you're not going to the game.
No.
I wonder how many people
I'll go
from
to
Shreveport,
Baton Rouge for a game.
I wonder if a lot of Shreveport Bossier folks are going to Vegas for the game. I'm curious. Send us a message on the Shreveport Security Systems message board if you're going.
So Kelly opened his press conference by thanking Coca-Cola as a sponsor and the products that the company has to offer. Yes. Just a shout out to our sponsor, Coke, Kelly said. Smart Water, great Coke product, minerals, vitamins. It's just great for you. It's refreshing, healthy, and Coke provides you all the products. Oh, my gosh.
I know.
He just did a commercial.
He did. He absolutely did.
And I love Smart Water.
I'm sure there was some money exchanged hands, some sort of product placement endorsement. I don't know. Garrett Nussmeier going to be the starting QB. They've made that decision officially.
Yes.
Not sure how I feel about that yet. Don't know. Gonna watch and see.
It's not going to be engraved in stone, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I hate the whole rotating quarterbacks, though.
See, I don't want that.
I hate that.
I do not want that. I do not want to have to endure that.
The adage, if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterback.
Yeah, thank you.
I believe that.
Want one leader on the team, one leader on the field. Let him run your team.
And let him work through his problems if he's got problems.
Absolutely.
And then get the team behind him.
Yes.
Now, if he loses the team, then you might have to make a change.
And I agree. And if it was
don't go back and forth.
Dreadful performance, maybe next game you try the other guy. But I do not like you run in now and do this play. You run in and do this because it's a pass play. I'm not a fan of that. I'm hoping we're not moving in that direction.
Now, I do like the whole Taysom Hill. Go in, you play this.
Yeah. Taysom Hill's a different animal.
That man, good grief.
He is a different animal, no doubt about it.
I need you to go in and play left guard on this play.
Exactly.
Okay, coach.
Got it. You're going to kick a field goal next play. Got it. Yeah, got it. I can do it.
Yes.
And you're punting. Okay, got it. He does anything, man. He's crazy.
And I believe he could do it.
He probably could.
You're going to kick off here next time. Ruston Mayor Ronnie Walker going to be joining us coming up after the news. Exciting news in Ruston, and it's moving. The new Buc-ee's is moving forward. We'll hear more next. 1017 FM, 710keel.com.
Now, breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty on 1017 FM and 710 Keel.
Okay, man cards may be needed.
How bad I feel, by the way. Mm-hmm. I grilled steaks the other night.
Yes.
And didn't even eat.
Wow. Okay.
And I had steaks off the grill. Mm-hmm. And I got that steak seasoning.
Oh.
We got a cabinet that's got all these seasonings. And I've got and I love this steak seasoning.
Interesting. Speaking of seasonings, I'm going to go to your house today, Ruben, and I'm going to go in your spice cabinet.
Okay.
I would like to know if I pulled out the oldest one that's in there.
Ooh, the oldest one.
How far back do you think you got one that goes?
Yeah.
I think I have a thing of Greek seasoning from when we first moved into the house, which was, I think, 2 years ago.
2 years? That's all right.
Yeah.
That's good.
2 years. Now, that's like new, baby.
Yeah.
There may have been some that came from the apartment that I'm not aware of.
Okay.
There may be.
Mikey Pooh, how
I'm gonna have
old's
to
yours?
ask Dina. I think we've got some lemon pepper seasoning from like our honeymoon.
And you can't even shake it.
40 years
it's not
ago,
loose
it's just
anymore?
a solid block of lemon pepper.
Who doesn't have one of those in their... I bought caraway seeds. You know when you get those sweet and sour pickles and they got those little bitty ball things in them?
Oh,
those are
okay.
caraway seeds.
Oh, okay.
Well, when I made pickles, I had to have caraway seeds.
So they have a flavor?
I guess, I don't know. You soak them in all the vinegar and stuff, and they make I don't know. But I think on the day you guys bury me, those caraway seeds are going to be in my cabinet.
Right?
I think I've got something in there that's 20 years old.
Oh, wow.
I think I probably do.
Yeah.
It's time to clean it out, isn't it?
Yeah,
probably.
You just reminded me.
If it's a solid block and it won't pour anymore, you need to throw it out.
I do have to get a knife sometimes and go break stuff up.
Mike, you shouldn't be using it then.
I know. You're probably right.
But do they have expirations on them?
Our humidity is so high a lot of times that affects.
Yeah, that's true. What's the worst one? I have a lemon pepper in there too. I think I have a saffron. What the hell did I need saffron for? I don't know.
But you bought it.
Yeah, I bought it because something called for saffron, so I bought some stupid saffron.
Yeah, honestly, the only reason I have the 2-year-old Greek seasoning, and that's the oldest, is because when we moved from the apartment to the house, we threw a lot away.
Tossed it out.
Yeah, when was the last time y'all moved?
That's
true.
For
me, it's been like 15 years.
Yeah, that's true.
That's part of the reason.
Yeah, when you move,
longer.
you toss all that out. You're like, I'll buy it again. But man, every little jar of that stuff is $5.
Yeah,
it's expensive.
Exactly. So I'll take a knife and break it up. Living with my wife
and
too
show
long.
up at work sick the next day.
Exactly. Yeah. Rusty Mayor Ronnie Walker joining us, giving us a Buc-ee's update next. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
Back with McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
FM 710 KEEL. Mike and McCarty on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker hotline this morning, flying a jet. Rusty Mayor Ronnie Walker joining us. Mayor, good morning, sir.
How are you doing?
Are you flying in an open cockpit plane? You must be on your way to Baton Rouge.
We're on our way to Baton Rouge right now, yes. Myself and 2 of our administrators.
Well, the city council approved the 80-acre site that Buc-ee's will be taking over. Tell us what's going on in Baton Rouge.
So what we're doing today is meeting with all the stakeholders, all of the engineering groups, all the consultants, Buc-ee's, DOTD, Federal Highway, everyone that's involved in this project, and just trying to get all the loose ends, I guess you would say, tied up.
How soon will the construction begin, Mayor? What's the hope?
Well, the hope is as soon as possible. That's what it's been from day one. But realistically, I would think somewhere toward the first of the year, last part of the last quarter. It's a 12 to 15-month process after they start. So we're just hoping to get everything kind of tied up today so that date can be set.
And that looks like a possible opening in early 2026 then?
Correct, yes.
All right, there's a little bit of a race going on, with Lafayette. I don't want you to lose. I don't want you to lose that race. I want you. They're trying to get theirs open next year. There's really no chance for Ruston for next year. You got too much work to do on the freeway there, right?
No, we got plenty of time for the work on the interchange. We're not really concerned about that at all. It's just that we can do that totally separate of the building of the building. So we probably will start that sometimes in the last quarter of this year.
Now, this is an 80-acre site, but Buc-ee's is planning on using about 25 acres. If you look at the Terrell, Texas Buc-ee's, that whole area has just exploded. I know you're hoping that will happen there in Ruston. Is that going to be enough acreage?
Well, that's how much that Buc-ee's is going to develop. There's private landowners that have acreage next to that will be available too. So yes, we would love for it to look like Terrell, Texas in a few years. And we've already had calls from restaurants, hotels, different businesses. So we know it's going to develop. It's just a matter of getting started.
That's what I was going to ask you, Mayor Ronnie Walker from Ruston. How much has this spurred other development? I mean, restaurants and all that's good, but what about other big development? Is that also spurring some of those calls too?
It's amazing how many calls we're having. I mean, like last week alone, we met 4 different groups, one group every day, 4 days last week, 1 this week. It's just amazing that Buc-ee's draws that much, first of all, people every day to the store, but also just the excitement of what's happening in North Louisiana and people and businesses wanting to be a part of that growth.
Anything you can share? Maybe possible new development?
Not yet. There's a bunch. Well, I guess I can. Texas Roadhouse is coming, not where Buc-ee's is going to be, but in town. We've got 2 new hotels coming. So it's just going to continue to pick up pace as we see construction start.
Talk about the jobs, the Buc-ee's jobs. They're quality, good-paying jobs. How many are we talking about?
Well, they're talking about 250 right now, and they are quality jobs. I'm so glad you said that because, they pay $18 an hour. They've got 401k with a match. They've got paid vacations. They've got health insurance. But Louisiana Economic Development doesn't consider that a quality job. So we don't get any assistance from the state with our part as far as infrastructure because it's not considered a quality job. We'd love to see that change to where, especially in North Louisiana, in the North Delta Regional Authority, that should be a quality job, and I feel like there should be state funds that would help with that. That's a discussion for another day.
Mayor Ronnie Walker, let me ask you this about sales tax revenues. I assume you kind of at night you rub your hands together and you're thinking, ooh, this is going to be good. What kind of projections are you looking at? I mean, folks from Shreveport, Bossier, from Monroe, they're going to drive to Ruston to go to Buc-ee's. It's kind of a little outing.
It's almost a destination location.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We have done a lot of projections. Of course, the sales tax, we gave some incentives to get them there, but we still have a lot of our sales tax that we'll be receiving. So it's not just the city of Ruston, it's the school board, it's the sheriff's office, it's the parish. All of those will have a nice, I hate to call it a windfall, but a nice addition to what we receive, because all of us depend on sales tax.
Mayor, you're on your way to Baton Rouge, state and federal officials. Do you foresee any problems or hiccups in the process?
Well, anytime you've got a project of this size and something that's taken, we've been working on this for 18 months now. So anytime you have something that big, you always have hiccups. We've worked through so many of them so far. We hope today's meeting at 10 will tie a lot of those up. And I'm sure we'll have a few more that pop up because that's just the way construction and this kind of development that happens. But we're very optimistic and just looking forward to getting this meeting finished today and moving on to the next part of this project.
Well, we look forward to it. I can't thank you enough for joining us this morning, and keep us posted. Shoot me a text on how your meeting goes today.
I'll do it. Thank y'all so much.
You
Have
bet.
a great
Thanks.
day.
Thank you. Drive safely, sir. Ruston Mayor Ronnie Walker, Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
Let's get back to the show with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
You ever scroll through your emails and go, do I never clean out emails?
Holy cow, I'm the queen of it. I'm the queen of it.
Oh, my gosh. This is ridiculous. I'm like, why do I still have this crap?
I have, guess how many emails I have in my inbox at the moment.
You win. I'm just going to tell you that right
it's
now.
It's unreal. I look at that number and I'm like, it's overwhelming. It's over 13,000. Stop laughing over there, snort face.
Wait, where does it say snort face?
Your inbox.
Where does it say like the number?
On the left-hand column where you see it says inbox.
Right.
Under folders. Yeah. Look to the right of that. It has a number.
Mine doesn't have a number.
Mine has a number there.
Nope.
13,417.
Now, if I highlight over, it says inbox 546 items.
Okay. You're lucky.
I've let mine get a little out of control. Yeah, I'm over 1,000 now.
Whoa.
13,000.
I don't even know where to start. Where do you start?
I think there's an option to like delete past a certain year.
Yeah,
you should probably do that.
I think I might do that. I get
and what
so
a lot
much
of people
spam.
don't realize, like you go through and you'll clean your inbox or you'll clean your trash, empty your trash. Do you ever go clean the sent folder?
I do that, and
because
I go clean the deleted folder too.
Yeah,
I go empty them both. My problem is the like right now I'm getting a ton of politicals, from the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, from Kamala Harris, from Donald Trump, and I'm trying to send those automatically to junk, but they work around that somehow. They know some tricks. So even if you send them directly to junk, they figure out a way to get around it. I don't know. And so I hadn't figured that out yet.
I get a lot from Mike Johnson, Senator Cassidy,
yep,
Senator Kennedy. But it's always contribute here.
There's a lot of those that are going around. I'm going to send Kamala Harris your email address just so you start seeing those.
Aaron.
Mike.
It's funny you say that. And now,
Martindale.
and I would deserve it because I remember, in fact, in this building, there was a sales guy, and I'm not going to say his name, down at the other end of the building.
Yeah.
So annoying. We used to fill out. I can't believe I'm saying this.
You're a bad man. I already know what you're saying, probably.
And I don't know where I got them because I didn't take this magazine. Playboy subscription cards.
Oh, no.
Fill out his name.
Oh, no. Wow. You are evil. Okay. Kamala Harris.
Yeah, I know. I deserve it. I know. I deserve it. Gosh.
They send a lot of emails, man. They get these addresses.
Oh, yeah.
And they latch on to them.
They buy those.
Oh, absolutely. And then they latch on and they send everything they have.
Yeah.
And you get all kinds of crap. And a lot of it is wanting your money. They want your cash.
Sure.
It's not going to happen.
Click donate here.
Yeah, please donate here. Please help us. We need one more person to help us.
And I get like emails from corporate. I say parenthetically.
Yeah.
Air quotes. Corporate.
They're tricking you.
And they want you to update your, password or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Click here. No, I'm sorry. And if it's actually corporate, sorry, I'm not. I'm missing it because you've trained me so much not to click on links in the emails, not even to open the emails, so that I'm not doing it.
I get a lot of emails. Thank you, Ruben. From Vincent Gambino. A lot. I get a lot of his emails because there's a lot of warrants out for my arrest. And Vincent Gambino is trying to protect me, and he wants to help me. And Ruben has repeatedly told me, don't open emails from Vincent Gambino.
Right.
No.
Don't even open them.
Yeah, Joe Pesci is not trying to help you out.
Vincent Gambino.
Or any Utes either.
No Utes, nothing.
Funny.
I hope you have a great weekend. Get better.
Our friend Crystal she's in Florida, and I sent her the picture of the shark 10 feet from her. I said, just remember.
Head on a swivel in the water.
Yeah, absolutely.
1017 FM, 710keel.com.